Certainly, I can say that human life can be interesting and you can laugh at it or feel sad about it. I just finished pretty much all of the tax return, and this Form 8938 is about the financial asset and some reporting so that the authority can check if the money is not going in the wrong direction. It's necessary, but the penalty goes if you don't do it right. $10,000, and each month $10,000 up to $50,000. I mean, you can hire an accountant to do this job. It's not a big deal after all, but I spent 1 hour on this. Last year I did too. It was more complex. This year I started to use this TurboTax, but it has its own problem that it took some time. What's the bottom line of this? Living in the world and even thinking about the AI, ChatGPT, it's wonderful that I get so much benefit out of it, but at the same time, there's a danger to go with it. And just looking at the world and people's life, of course, my own, with my own experience, I think this is natural for an old man like me, almost 75, want to have a peaceful time. But I worry about the future. I may be dead in the next few years, 5 years, I have no idea, but younger people. Theoretically, with all the advancement of technology, we should be able to deal with the situation much more simply. Like I mentioned about the ChatGPT, I got so much benefit. Instead of spending 40 minutes, the job can be done in 5 minutes now. Even this one, my title and the description, I say a few things, and the ChatGPT can lay out what could be the case. If I think through it, it's very disjointed. It's like writing a book. If you want to do a very sincere, truthful job, you edit and re-edit. With my background, not so fluent in Japanese, not in English, also in Japanese, takes lots of effort. And the future is feasible that AI can do a lot. But at the same time, I see lots of dangers. The dark side of the human nature. Cheating and lying and egocentric, not at the individual but organization, at the national level, political. So who is the victim? My work has been focused on the people in the organization so that they have their own destiny, empowering and have people, including myself, to have the ability to be the master of our own destiny. That's the whole idea. And right now, I feel like I want to hide away and just have a peaceful life. That's one orientation. But the other orientation is that I cannot let these crazy things to keep on going, and I want to do something about it. I got the brain information, and I can do something, even just a tiny bit. But I want to do that. So I use the word of the back to the Garden of Eden, so that you can be not using the mind in the unnecessary stuff, but be able to kind of go through the rebirth and to learn how to use our brain with wisdom and compassion. That's the basic way I see it. instead of just going back and be peaceful and laugh at the situation and I'm okay. That's one way of, some of the people say, Hinayana, go back into the cave or meditate and be happy, or in Zen temple and just seclude it out of the society and be happy, peaceful. I see that. Having gone through some awakening, and I see that is wonderful. But you cannot have the hell on the earth to be. That's what the brain says. If there's a negative potential, it's my job, my mission to, as much as I got the benefit of others who helped me to understand where I am and what we can, me at the old age to transfer the knowledge, ideas, not the worries, but some potentials for the next generation that I think is natural. If I got the benefit, how can I transfer? So even the awakening and all the peace in mind, this is a Joshu, Zen monk, who said he got enlightened, but it took 30, 40 years to deepen. And one of the words that I feel resonating is that he goes back to hell. That's the idea of the Bodhidharma, Bodhisattva. You may be feeling secure and peaceful in the garden medium, but you don't go there because you got the picture of the people, including yourself, because you have that same quality, the structure, that you can relate to one way of living and the other way of living. So it's a Mahayana idea of not going there to go across the river to the garden medium, so to speak, but back and the hell, while he can maintain his ability to see the connection between those two and be able to communicate that and do whatever is feasible. I think that's a very genuinely felt feeling. I'm not familiar enough to talk lots of religions, but just looking into Zen and Shin Buddhism, intellectual orientation, but compassionate orientation, all the mixture of those that we have in our construct, each case is different. So if you look at that, and not just looking at your own, but including your own, but also what the society situation is going on, there are certain, what do you call this, will to want to do something for the best for all. May all beings be happy. So, all the procedures that you have to go through, it's a linear logic going through this, but then all of a sudden there's another thing that you have to refer to, and there's some conflict. We have to dig into this information to make sure that everything is right and not paying $50,000 for a mistake you may have made, which may not be the case, but who knows what can happen. So you have to be very diligent, careful, using your brain, because the brains are used to develop the system, and that's how the society is functioning, and there's a potential danger and flaw and misunderstanding, and that create the suffering. Even the intention is good, but even beyond that, people get lost from this direction, that direction, because of the hang-up from the past or the experience, whatever have you. It's a fairly complex process that we are each each is to go through. So the point of this is not to air out my complaint, but going beyond the awakening, die to live, as I say often. Okay, this is what we got. Okay, no point of digging deeper unless it's needed, and you may have to. But draw a line. I've done the job. The day is over. I mean, this is morning still, but in terms of this job, it's done. And I take the consequence, whatever that is, and I believe it should be okay, but, just to draw a line and move forward so that you're not dwelling on the things where the values of us being alive, not to be put down, but have the dream and the future with a childlike interest even to explore, that we cannot lose that. So it's just a case of the tax filing that I brought, but could be anything. The hurdles are there because of us living in this world, and for each to do the best to silence our mind, that I'm doing or trying to do, to put things in order. Breathe in, breathe out. Clear the mind. You did your best. Well, that's you may think, or I may think when I die. Let the thing happen as it would. Somehow I like the poem of Kenji Miyazawa. I may put that into description. That he is living in a tiny hut and trying to help, but living in a very modest, eating a little bit of this and that, but trying to help. I hope you open up the description and read it. So, die to live. You did your best each day, every occasion. And you may make mistake, but you take it and move on. Don't lose that energy, aliveness. Do the mission I have, you have, and happily with like a childlike dream of what can we do? What is the priority? How to approach it? So that our lessons learned can be transferred to and shared with others and into the future. Right and wrong, we do our best and let the next generation and for those who share the view can move forward. Thank you.